A simple web search of the top 10 scariest websites can lead you to the most expected results of things that we've probably all seen before. Sites that you might have come across while pressing a red button when you're bored might just leave you with a tiny hint of unease. Maybe Cool Math Games was just not captivating enough to you while spending your recess in the school library, so you decided to seek out a funny maze game like Prank on your friends. But what we mostly don't expect, at least as far as I can say, is the darkest and most unexplained locations on this fun place called the internet, farthest from any well-told warnings of the nearly impossible to access and dangerous deep web and other dark sides, and nowhere near as sought out. The real mysteries lying right in plain sight, only separated from our mundane, everyday experiences by a few simple letters in the domain name. YouTube in this case being no exception. This is the cursed alternate URL.
Lots of things are cursed, and I'm getting cursed again. It's probably like the 10th time I can just mark that off of my to-do list in my life. So, what am I referring to when I say the cursed alternate URL? Well, let me tell you. Anyways, before we get straight into that, my name is Dallas, aka Inferness, and yes, you're watching YouTube Unsolved. I would like to say thank you to the submitter of this mystery, 70-foot Black Llama. If you have your own mystery that you would like to share here, then you can go and actually use the brand new specially made email for submissions of YouTube Unsolved. If you'd like to have a higher chance of having whatever you find be seen and possibly even turn into a video, then make sure you use the brand new email address. And then we can all just be the James Bond of YouTube. Make sure you join the Discord server if you haven't already, specially made for YouTube Unsolved. And you can find all kinds of other mysteries, discuss your findings with other people, and also just submit them into me through that method as well. And with all of that being covered, let's just get straight into it. Now, this discovery was apparently made through Zoom. That's the first ever time I've ever seen that. We're starting a new series. Zoom Unsolved. So, during one of the classes of this submitter, from their account, it was one of their online classes. Everyone knows that's the scariest thing that you could experience now anyways. So the teacher of this Zoom class was apparently just trying to find an educational video, which was a historical video because they were in history class. This teacher wasn't all that tech savvy, so they really had a habit of typing in things manually, especially into the URL. And during this, obviously everyone's streaming their own face, and the teacher is streaming their screen to the entire class. To the teacher's account, they had accidentally typed in some other key or other hyphen or whatever, like, when you typing in something into the search bar, you type in one of those things. You get the point. And upon searching with whatever mistake or typo that they had made, instead of just going to the normal everyday youtube.com, this website formed, which was a cryptic and dark website with no words and basically just absolutely nothing going on except this circular diagram, which didn't really have anything written on it, and it certainly didn't look like YouTube's homepage. Now, while seeing this, luckily this person happened to be a fan of YouTube Unsolved, so they had quickly grabbed their snipping tool and they had gone to work with snipping and getting a screenshot of their screen, making sure that this thing was captured on some kind of, or this evidence was taken for sure. And I don't know about you, but if I'm just minding my own business in class, and then all of a sudden the teacher just starts pulling up some crazy Illuminati cult website, I'm gonna just have to pack my bags and walk out the door, because that guy's in a cult, and he might be in the mood to start sacrificing my blood to the ancient gods if I just happen to start talking to my friend in class a little bit. So one of the students had just asked casually, like, how did that happen? What did you type in? And the teacher just said, I don't know, I just typed in youtube.com. But the URL was actually no longer youtube.com, it was a different URL with a dot and then this extra word and then just the normal .com on the rest of it.
Of course, the entire class wasn't going to be diverted to just this, to the students' disappointment, and continued on afterwards with the teacher joking it off as an actual April Fool's joke on YouTube's end. The submitter wasn't done being curious though, of course. Later on, while attempting to look it up for themselves, the page was entirely unreachable. All other attempts to input any hash or symbol after the YouTube and before the .com in the domain name simply continued to YouTube's normal site. After trying a few times, even turning on and off their personal VPN to see if anything would happen, surprisingly, something did. Having the VPN open apparently made the page load correctly when youtube.arguary.com was entered. Black Llama tried multiple different countries for the VPN, finding out that not one in particular seemed to work. However, none of the times did it work while in Greenland. A little bit random, but okay. And talking about VPNs, on that note, this video is sponsored by
nobody. But this would be the perfect place for sponsorship, so you're lucky.
And that's as far as a submitter could get in terms of finessing this discovery. The Black Llama left me with nothing more than the link telling me to try it, and just experience it for myself, because there's no way to describe what this website is. It turns out that a teacher actually has to use some form of VPN in order to host their online class to avoid hackings and other problems that might happen. That's how they stumbled upon this. Now on to my investigation.
As much as I would like to just dismiss this whole thing as just a poorly written and badly timed creepypasta, or some kind of promo for some up-and-coming alternate reality game or something like that, but I can't. Because, turns out, you can actually go to this website. Yes, it took me about 20 different tries using about 5 different VPN services. And by the way, the only country that actually did work, that didn't just make this page go directly to the 404 page where it just didn't load or just didn't refresh, it just said like a no Wi-Fi message, was New Zealand. Apparently over there in New Zealand, they'd be working in a whole different dimension. I went further into this and I kind of really just delved into what this website was. I went through all the pages, I tried looking through every single aspect of it, and it turns out that this website is actually very, very old. If you were to look up the URL, it actually redirects to a whole nother URL called illuminatiorder.info, which is a little bit scary. It was published in 2002 for the first time, and it's being redirected from youtube.com. Turns out, upon going to this website, you have all these very cryptic and very weird type of Latin messages and inscriptions and all kinds of HTML elements with all kinds of moving animations and pictures and literally everything is just 100% written in foreign languages. I had to translate everything. There's only one actual interactable part of this website which I found to be the most interesting. That was a puzzle or some kind of riddle, just one single riddle, which leads you to a second page that you need to unlock via a password. Now this whole website was made in very archaic code and web design, 2002. So this is clearly not just some joke meme website because people weren't really working with memes back in 2002. At least I don't remember that. Not that I remember much of anything in 2002, but so anyways, it turns out it's a very simple riddle. If you were to do any kind of research on it, it's what's known as the Sphinx's riddle. And this riddle has been around for thousands of years, and the simple answer is the human. The question is basically, what stands on 4 legs, or what walks in 4 legs in the morning, and then walks on 2 legs in the afternoon, and then 3 legs at night. Human being. Because when you're born, you're crawling around, and when you're when you're adult, you're just walking around like this. And then when you're old, you're gonna walk around with a cane, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand what the point of this website would have been had it been just a joke or just a make-believe website. It's not like it's some organization. There's no manifesto to it. There's not even an about page. And like I said, this website was registered and really hasn't been updated for about 17 total years. So it's not really like it was seeking any kind of attention until this very moment. On this website's page that you get led to after you successfully solve this riddle, you have this pyramid with all these levels of different statements and different kind of phrases on there. Each one leading to very old, very cryptic verses from ancient documents that predict the death or life of all humans. They're all just kind of documented into this pyramid type formation, and a very surprising amount of things are actually interactable on this website. Almost every tiny little aspect or element that you could see just on there, you can click and it'll take you to a whole nother place. Now, the thing that really got on my curious side was this main page with these fluctuating different pictures or gems or types of parts of this circle. Every time you click one, it leads to a whole different combination of ones. I feel like this is some Indiana Jones type crap, and I'm not understanding what's going on here. There even seems to be a certain section of the website which is involved with, for whatever reason, specifically listing or documenting the proportions and exact size and statistics of every country in the world. Not really based off of anything in particular, just the actual land size and geographical descriptions of each country. As if it's just like some group describing the world and its ancient history, geography, and activity in terms of the human population, and then having this one countdown to some event. 1,500 plus days on the clock. And listen, man, I went through the rest of this website, and there's a whole lot of weird hoodoo on there, and listen, we've discussed things like cursed comments which can make your life go to crap if you just read them and they're like one sentence long. So I wouldn't want to risk just reading through entire paragraphs of these weird cryptic Latin like messages that seem to be like thousands of years old. I tried getting off of New Zealand in terms of the VPN connection, going to the United States and multiple other countries, trying out the same connection, see if it would work multiple times consistently, and it didn't. When I tried to go back to New Zealand, it didn't work again. When I tried to go back to the United States, it didn't work again. When I turned the whole frickin' VPN off, it didn't work again. And then it didn't work. I had to stick with the footage I had because apparently it didn't work. There's no analytics of this website. If you try to search on anything, any analytics thing, it just comes up not even zero, just unavailable. Now, on the main splash page of the Agoria website, the main page of this youtube.agoria.com, is the keywords academia omnilvx. Yeah. So, normal everyday things like that. So, I basically could find only one thing on the entire surface web about this phrase, and it was a simple question on Quora.
What is academia omnilvx? This question was asked nearly 6 years ago and didn't receive a reply until 2016. Most likely the phrase it represents higher study or higher knowledge, a normal catch slogan or word usage in secret societies or impersonations of secret societies, perhaps even a cult in certain origins. This is due to the previous ways of literature and human history being deemed heretical if contrary to what only was already being taught in the religious mainstream. However, nowadays, there's not much meaning behind it other than its use to vaguely describe modern versions of the Illuminati or other cult-like entities. The only other answer that this question ever received was from an anonymous answerer, but was far more direct. I don't know where you found it, but if you see anyone using or throwing around this phrase, they're either a very edgy kid, or you should just stay away from whoever they are. This is oftentimes used in many death cults and quasi-religious sects. Its origins are simply to refer to academic enlightenment. This leads us back to the original website, illuminatiorder.info, the site that apparently had been redirected through youtube.com. So what's going on here? Why is YouTube redirecting people to this very unusual and unexplained website that no one seems to understand or even know exists?
So really, the thing that is still going to remain unsolved about this entire thing is the fact that we don't know why exactly it was redirected from YouTube's main website. Anyone could explain the fact that this website exists. It's not really too unbelievable in and of itself. There's lots of Illuminati suspected websites, or cultist type websites, which proclaim to be some kind of underground organization, or even a doomsday prediction website. But nothing like this really happens, where just people going to YouTube all of a sudden end up on here, like it's just some 2012 prophecy. You can, of course, visit the website itself, illuminatiorder.info, which is the exact same website, but it's not youtube.agori.com, redirected from YouTube's website. So I don't know if there's any difference between that, but it leads to the same splash page, with this dark background and everything else. Very startling things, but at the end of the day, that's all we have for YouTube Unsolved. So thanks for watching, and yeah, we're gonna make sure that in the future, we're gonna have some absolutely groundbreaking and banger videos, banger episodes coming out. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.